Hello, hello. Welcome again to another episode of the Bitcoin Developers Twitch. I am your host, Connor Okus. It's been a little minute. I've missed you. I've kind of missed streaming, if I'm honest with you. Been busy doing a lot of traveling, speaking at conferences, just hard at work on this free open source Bitcoin movement. So thank you for joining me again. I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. We have a guest with us that's been on the show before. He was on about 10 months ago and he was showing us how to build BDK apps using React Native. Oh yeah, Prague. I'm going to give Prague a special shout out in a second as well. Actually, I just come back from there last week and it was a fantastic conference. But yes, we have our guest Bitcoin Xavier joining us today. So let's bring him up to the stage. How's it going, my friend? Good to see you again.
Hey, hi Connor. Great to see you as well, and great to be back.
Yeah, awesome. It's been a while. I think the last time you came on was about 10 months ago. Like I said, you was helping us. You were showing us how to build React Native apps using BDK RN. This time we've got a slight change, and we're going to be using Flutter this time around. I've never personally used Flutter, so I'm excited to use Flutter for the first time and kind of see how it differs to React Native.
Yeah, that should be interesting. Yeah, last time we were here, we were doing React Native, which is about 10 months ago, as you've said. A lot has happened since then, really.
Yeah, and before you go into that, let me just do a couple of shout outs for a couple of events and a couple of things that's going on in the community, and then we can dive right into that. But yeah, if people are interested in learning about Bitcoin Xavier background as well, you can check out the episode we did about 10 months ago on the YouTube channel. So let me try and present my screen here so I can show you guys a few things. Let's go with this one. All right, cool. So yeah, just to let people know that all of the live streams we do record, and you can view them back at a later date on YouTube and on the Bitcoin Developers.xyz website as well. If you feel so inclined, feel free to share, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. We're still trying to grow the movement, so every little helps. Also, a quick shout out to the organizers of BTC Prague. It's probably been my favorite conference this year. We had a dev hack day the day prior to the conference, so a lot of workshops, a lot of technical talks happening. The conference itself had a marvelous program, great catering, great organization. The expo hall itself was a great place to actually hang out, which is not always the case in these expo halls. Super Bitcoin only, no like altcoins and stuff like that. Very focused, very tailored to that. So definitely shout out to the organizers of that conference. There's some stuff coming up in the future as well. The Power of Lightning Summit happening over at Bitcoin Park in Nashville. If you've not been to Nashville already, you definitely should. I've been twice this year already, and it's been great experiences both times. So definitely feel free to head over to there, put yourself on a waiting list, get your plans in order for that. What else has been happening? We've got a lot happening with LDK, the quote unquote sister project of BDK. We've got this new flashy case studies page, which gives you a view of all of the projects that are starting to use LDK now across a wide variety of applications as well, from mobile, web, and desktop to kind of infrastructure and experiential projects as well. So feel free to check that out. A cool example of something that can be achieved with LDK is uniquely achieved with LDK is Mutiny. They announced their in the browser web wallet, currently being tested on Signet. So yeah, feel free to check that out, test that out, give the guy some feedback. This is an example of it currently running in the browser. So feel free to check that out. And I think that's enough kind of rambling from me. So I'll stop sharing for a second, and we'll speak to Bitcoin Xavier again. So yeah, like I said, last we was here 10 months ago. We was kind of creating a React Native app using BDK. Do you want to maybe give the people an update on kind of what you've been working on since that time?
Yeah, I'd love to. So since the last podcast, I think there's been a lot going on. When we did the podcast, that was a very initial release of BDK RN. So if we just talk about BDK RN for a bit, it's been upgraded quite a lot since then. One thing that we have done with BDK RN as well as Flutter is to align the API for BDK RN as well as BDK Flutter. We've aligned it to the BDK API, BDK Rust API as closely as possible. And we do this via our BDK FFI project. And BDK FFI is basically a subset of the APIs that BDK exposes. So BDK Rust is quite elaborate, very granular, and gives a tremendous amount of control over what you want to do. But for most practical cases, you don't really require that level of granularity. So we have sort of created a subset of those APIs. I call it a subset, but it's very granular still. And this subset is, what we've exposed as a BDK FFI project, and we use that to create bindings for other languages, Python, Java, and Kotlin, and Swift, etc. So this is available as BDK FFI separately. And so what we have done is we've taken this BDK FFI set of APIs as a base and exposed the exact same APIs in BDK React Native as well as BDK Flutter. So that has been one major task that we have done, and that has got a lot of advantages. One of the advantages is that the entire BDK API is very has been created by thinking about a lot of use cases, scenarios, and applications, and it's been thought through very well. So what that does is we don't really have to do all of that thinking again. We can just replicate those APIs and benefit from the strategic vision there, right? That is one of the advantages of doing that. The second is all of the reference material available out there for BDK can be utilized to create and to help with BDK Flutter as well as BDK RN. So I think these two things are really important. And over the long run, this will help the Bitcoin community and the application development teams a lot. And we've seen it happening. And the reason I say that we've seen it happening is related to the next update, which is since the last update, Connor, which was 10 months ago, a lot of teams have started using BDK RN as well as BDK Flutter. A lot of applications are already being developed using this. A lot of these are sort of in stealth mode right now. So slowly, we'll hear announcements, but it's a great accomplishment. I think, in a matter of less than 10 months, the adoption has been tremendous, and all of the advantages that I just mentioned about aligning the APIs have been one of the reasons for this, So this has been one of the other activity that I've been busy with, supporting the teams that are implementing BDK RN and BDK Flutter. So this has been really good, not just to see the adoption, but to see how teams are using it, what use cases applications are trying to implement. And that has circled back into updating the APIs. So the APIs are not, the same as they were 10 months ago. We've got a lot of enhancements, a lot of new APIs and methods have been added. And a lot of this has been based on feedback coming from the application teams. So that's the other thing that's happened. APIs have been updated, aligned, improved, enhanced, and a lot of applications have started using this. And very soon we should start hearing announcements of apps which have been building with BDK Flutter and BDK RN. And apart from that, I think you covered on LDK. So LDK has been moving quite fast as well. So LDK Node, the sub project of LDK, which is supposed to be a ready-to-use node, which can be implemented very quickly in applications. So that's been progressing quite a lot. So LDK Node is a Rust project. It has got FFI bindings as well, just like BDK does. And I've been building the Flutter implementations for these libraries and the React Native implementations. So awesome. We have the Flutter
busy man.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun, Connor. So the Flutter ones are there, React Native ones, following right behind. And I think that's something else that's happened with the way I've been working. Earlier I started with the React Native implementations. Now sort of I do the Flutter ones first. It's just that I've started to like Flutter a bit more, I suppose.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and we can talk about some of those differences between Flutter and React Native, because I know at a high level they've got many of the same goals. But yeah, just to let people know, that we will be in this session in the next 5 or 10 minutes, going through the BDK Flutter API and trying to implement some basic functionality like generating keys and sending and receiving and syncing to make sure we're up to date with the latest chain state and things of that nature. So we'll dive into that in a second. But can you talk to me a little bit then about Flutter? I'll present my screen again here just to give people a visual, because why not? So yeah, I mean, I have done a little bit of React Native stuff in the past. Not super familiar with Flutter, but how can you name like just a couple of things where, because they're both designed to build cross-platform mobile applications, but where do they differ slightly, and why are you leaning more towards wanting to use Flutter?
Right. So I think this won't be a comprehensive comparison, of course, but just some of the things that I've been sort of, because of which I've been leaning towards Flutter a bit more. So I guess Flutter is a bit more stable when you're using it for the first time. So setup, environment, configurations, various other things. It's almost like it's ready out of the box. So you set up Flutter, and then you're ready to go, and it works correctly most of the time. So in React Native, you tend to have a lot of configuration problems that you have to resolve. In Flutter, I didn't see a lot of that. That could, that may not be a sort of, a very good reason as well, but definitely it saves a lot of time. Apart from that, it's the overall architecture, I believe. The way Flutter works, it enables apps to be a bit more faster, I think. In React Native, there is this constant struggle to manage your application in a single threaded JavaScript mode. And in Flutter, you can spawn multiple threads, so that helps quite a lot.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And all of Flutter is in terms of building the UI is just a little intuitive, I think. It's because it's all based on widgets. It's like a widget inside a widget inside a widget. It's a complete, it's like the DOM, but it just seems a bit more intuitive.
Okay.
And so that makes it a little easier to build the UIs, and
okay.
and the way we use and the way we are building our modules from Rust to BDK Flutter or BDK RN. In that the approach that we are taking for BDK Flutter is slightly different than React Native. So the BDK Flutter has got because of the way Dart and Flutter work, it is slightly easier to use the Rust code base inside of a Flutter package, and it is more performant in the comparisons that I've done, and because of that, it is quicker and easier to port a Rust code base and expose it as a Flutter package. And once you've done it, you're able to build iOS as well as Android, as well as other platforms, Mac OS and web or whatever else, much more easily. In React Native, we take a different approach. We create a native binary, and then we package that native binary and expose the methods in React Native, which is a different approach. So that is slightly different than we do it for Flutter. So Flutter seems to be more straightforward in doing that, and that makes it a little quicker. And also, once you've implemented this, when you're actually building the application, the multiple thread paradigm that Flutter provides helps you sort of deal with situations where there could be processes that are time consuming, so you could do them in a different thread, and not be relying on a single thread and a single bridge between your native and your JavaScript code, which is the way React Native does things. So those are some of the reasons, that because of which I've been leaning more towards Flutter, because I'm able to build those packages much more quicker. It helps iron out a lot of things in terms of integration and in terms of multiple platforms and the issues that you will face on multiple platforms. And those issues come to light sooner, and they help with implementing the React Native package quicker as well. So yeah, those are some of the things.
Awesome. Fantastic. Okay. So I'm excited to get started. But just before we start, though, I'm interested to learn the range of different use cases that you're seeing teams use when adopting BDK RN and BDK Flutter. You don't have to talk to specific companies or projects, but just in general, like the type of use cases that teams are adopting.
There are most of the use cases I've seen are pretty generic.
Okay.
But I guess they might not be the case. Everyone may not think they're generic. So I think most of the use cases are creating wallets via descriptors, as well as without descriptors, importing existing wallets, importing read-only wallets, so via Xpub.
Okay.
Then people are using this with the app side backup as well, and then creating wallets on the fly when needed. Exchange-based wallets, as well as self-custody wallets. And there are some use cases where there is one use case where UTXOs from multiple wallets are being clubbed into transactions, and I don't know the entire user journey of that use case because it's all under apps, but yeah, that was quite interesting as well. Apart from that, no, I don't really. Nothing really. Out of the ordinary. Yeah, most of the things that we've seen popular wallets out there, they are being implemented with BDK Flutter without any issues.
All right, awesome. So it sounds like there's quite a range of different things the library is being used for. Cool. All right, let's try and jump into the practical and tutorial side of things. There is for people who kind of, I guess, want to follow along, there is a companion, let's call it a companion tutorial that we're pretty much going to be following. I guess it's this one. I guess I can put that in the chat as well. It's over at bitcoindevkit.org under tutorials and exploring BDK Flutter. Are we good to post that in the chat for the audience as well, so they can follow along? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll put that in the chat here. Oh, we've got it twice, but no worries. And let me think. Yeah, I think I'm ready to go. I just need to get set up, I think. So yeah, what's the first thing I need to do? I guess get a terminal open, create a project, and then we can kind of kick off from there, yeah?
Yeah, actually, that's how we can go about doing it, and actually the tutorial will tell you the same thing as well. And
Sure.
very briefly, if we just want to give an overview of what we'll be doing, I
Yeah,
think
go for it.
if you're gonna cover this, if you're gonna go through this tutorial, then I think in the beginning of the tutorial it shows what the end goal is. So that should be a good overview for everyone to see. That app is what will get created if we follow this tutorial till the end. I'm not sure how much of it we'll be able to get through, but yeah, that's the end goal. And
Yeah, we've got just over an hour. Like, I doubt we'll complete it, but yeah, we can give you guys some homework to, if you are following along and you don't finish it, that your homework is to finish it. If I don't finish it, my homework will be to finish it as well. So we'll get through what we can.
Great. So I think the first thing is I think we should create a dummy app, a starter app to get started. And if you've already set up the Flutter environment, then I think you could do Flutter create, and give a name to it.
Cool. So we can do Flutter create and then BDK QuickStart, I guess we can call it.
Yeah, that should be good.
Cool. It looks like that worked, and then I can go into that file directory. And it says here, click Flutter run. Is that correct?
Yeah, you could do that. If you're going to open it in VS Code, you could play it from there.
Yeah. Okay, good point. All right, let me just change my window 1 second to be VS Code. Let's go with this. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Okay, cool. So VS Code is telling me that there's a few plugins that I might want. So I'm just going to click yes on them because I'm assuming they're going to be helpful. Okay. All right. Here we are in VS Code with a new Flutter project.
Great. Let's just see if I think this is the first time you're opening a Flutter project, right, in VS Code.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So let's see if it'll let you run it from here. So in Flutter, generally, like we write our React Native code in app, right? App.js or TS. Here we write it all in main.dot, and main.dot sits under the lib folder. So
okay, here we go.
Yeah, and once you once you open the main.dot file, VS Code is able to recognize it, and it gives you a debug option up there, which is a play button. But before you click that, make sure you've got an iOS simulator running.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, how do I get an iOS simulator running already? Because I think when I've used React Native in the past and I've just tried to run it, by default it will open an iOS simulator for me. Is that the case with?
Okay, it could. Yeah, it could do that too. So let's just we could click the debug button on the top right, and it should get started. Yeah, it should do it.
Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see if this put in macOS application.
So Flutter create, it will sort of give a scaffolding for an app, and it should also run it and show a default app, which is normally a app with a counter on it, which you can increase.
Okay.
With the plus button. Yeah, so that's what we expect to build. So I think what it's doing right now, it's trying to build a Mac OS app.
Oh yeah, I've got it. I'm just not sharing it on my screen. So let me just see if I can get this set up a bit different so you guys can see the emulator as well.
Okay.
Let me stop sharing this for a second, and then I will move this over here. And I will also move the emulator over here so people can see it. And then I will try and share this window. Give me 2 seconds here. Window. I want the screen. And okay, I think here we go. Can you see that? Does that look right? Oh.
Yeah, that's good. But what it's done is it's opened it, and it's thinking it's a Mac OS app. So let's do Control.
Okay.
Let's do Control C. So we.
I'm not used to running it in VS Code, so maybe I just let me just run it in a normal terminal instead of using like VS Code's debug thing.
We won't actually need it as well. So if you just close the window, yeah. If we just
okay.
And then what we could do is you could go into a terminal and start a simulator. So you could use open, -a simulator.app. It should open it.
-a.
Yeah, simulator.app. I think SS should be capital simulator.
Capital S, did you say?
Yeah.
It's look right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, nice.
So what Flutter does is when you do Flutter run, it will check for what are the available devices to run the application on. And when we did not have a simulator running, it just found your Mac OS as the available option. So it just ran that there, yeah. But we want to do it in a proper mobile simulator. So that's what we'll do.
I see. Okay.
And what we'll do is, Connor, to make it easier for you, we don't really need the terminal. We'll try and manage in the VS Code screen itself. So you could adjust your VS Code screen on one side and the simulator, like it is on slightly on the right or left, wherever. And we can close that one, yeah.
Yeah, so let's try and adjust this a little bit here.
Right a bit, yeah. From the title bar. You can drag it from, yeah.
Yeah, okay. How about something like this? Does that look a bit better? Yeah.
And now when you click on play, it'll ask you to choose which OS to play it, which
just make this slightly bigger. And then, okay, so now I can click play now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I think when I was doing this before, I was using it as a Mac OS app instead, actually. So I didn't actually test this. So this should be interesting to see if it works. While that's building, maybe you want to talk us through a little bit of just like the file setup and stuff, just while that's building.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. So what we'll do in the beginning is, because this is a lot of dummy code here, we will sort of get rid of it. And in the tutorial, what I've done is I've given links to the repository. So all the tutorial code is available in a repository on GitHub. And and what we could do is we could use that repository to get a lot of styles and themes, which will save us a lot of time. So the idea is that we want to spend time looking at the BDK API and the BDK method. rather than looking at how to build Flutter apps, because that's a whole different journey on its own. So to make it easier, I've sort of organized all of this code in a repository. So depending on how much time somebody has, they could do a lot more or just focus on the BDK. So what we'll do is we'll focus just on BDK. So now we've got the app running on the right there corner. So that means you've got the environment, you're able to run the app. Now we can start digging into BDK now. So first things first, I think what we should do is we should get rid of a lot of this code we have.
Okay.
So I think if you're in the main.dart file already, isn't it? So So first thing, let's do one thing. We will sort of configure the app to use assets from a different location. Okay.
Okay.
So for that, what we'll need to do is, just like you've got package JSON in React Native, we've got pub/spec YAML in Flutter. So all of the green text is meant to help you. You can probably go through it later on, but at the moment, let's do one thing. We can find a place where it says assets. If you scroll down a bit.
Sorry, make this a tad bigger. So I'm looking for assets. Oh, here we go. Assets.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll remove the hash and the space before it. Yeah, and we'll do the same below it, the hash and the space before it. Yeah, and now 2 spaces, please. So the hierarchy of spaces is, very important here, just like in Python. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to say that we have an assets directory where we want to keep our assets, and our assets are nothing but images. So instead of images, let's change that to assets.
And that's just we're going to dump. Yeah, we're just going to dump everything in there. Yeah. So this is just like images. This is not like components necessarily. This is not where I don't know if they even use the term components in Flutter, but this isn't where we'd put like UI stuff. This is like literally.
This is just like the assets.
Logos, images, that kind of stuff.
Even in a web application context and terminology, assets are all of the static assets. So images, icons, right? So it follows the same terminology here. And and the question that you had in the next part, we'll just cover that, where we'll keep the widgets. So now we've specified the assets directory. And what we'll do is you can open the file explorer on the left. Yeah, that one. And if you've got the tutorial handy on the next screen, you can see that there's a screenshot showing what we intend to do next. So here, under lib, right now we just have main.dart. So what we're going to do is we want to organize our code to have a screens folder. So let's create a screens folder here under lib. And
one screen
we'll keep our screens just like you would in React Native. Let's create another folder under lib for styles.
Under lib, and call this on styles.
Yeah, cool. All lowercase here. And this is where we'll keep our theme. And let's create another folder for widgets.
Yeah.
Now, this is what you were referring to, the components like we have in React Native, reusable components. Yeah. So now, the way we will structure the app is our screens will be under screens. They will use the widgets from the widgets folder, and any styles that are required, they will come from the styles folder. So to make it really quick for us to get on to the BDK stuff, you can actually get these styles and widgets from that repository. So there's a link in the tutorial which says, get the theme can be taken from here. There's a link there. So that should take you to the repository.
Let me see. Yeah, here we go.
So if you're in the repository, it should be a BDK Flutter QuickStart app. Let me just post the link here as well.
Yeah, so, I've got it up. Is it what we're seeing on the screen now? Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, first, if you click on lib, very quickly, you'll see that all the stuff that we're going to need is here. So we're going to leave the screens alone. And under styles, we have a file called theme. We'll take this file and we'll dump it into our folder. So you could do edit and copy all, select all.
I think I can do something like this. Go back to VS Code. So this was in
under styles.
Under styles, and then themes.dart, yeah.
Theme.dart, yeah, a singular.
And I'll just copy that over.
Great. And while you're here, you could next we're gonna get widgets. So under the widgets folder, there should be a single file called widgets. Yeah. So this has all of the widgets that we'll be using, which have already been styled.
Nice. And that will go under widgets. What was the name of the file? Widgets.
Yeah.
Widgets. It's .dart. Okay, let me just make this a bit bigger. I just want to quickly scan it. Okay. Containers. Okay, this is like all the UI component based stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna take a look at this in our main as well. So it'll be the same there.
Awesome. All right, sounds good.
So now we got some stuff that'll help us speed along. Now let's do one thing. All the dummy code that was there when Flutter created the app, let's get rid of that. So let's find our main. Yeah, that one.
Okay, main.dart. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Here, I think the dummy code is gonna start from. Actually, yeah, all of this is dummy code. So basically, in the tutorial, there's a section for some amount of code. Actually, you can copy and paste that, then we can talk about it.
Okay, let me just get that up again. Lost my tutorial. 1 second. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, here we go. Let me just copy that. And then we can talk it through. So
we'll replace our So what we are doing here is
VS Code is shouting at me. I'm seeing a lot of red squigglies. I hate when VS Code does that, man. Is it because I've not compiled?
We'll be doing that shortly. Yeah. So okay. Here, what we've done is we've got a screens folder now, right? So we're going to keep our main screen in the screens folder. So we are importing it here. We need to create it first. We got a theme file. We're importing the theme file here.
Yeah.
And the material data is, it's part of Flutter. So we're going to use that for our overall styles.
Yeah.
Then all of the code, sits normally supposed to starts from main. So just like in Rust and C, execution starts from the main method. So that's what the main method is there. And what we're doing is we're saying run the my app widget. So everything in Flutter is a widget. So we're saying run the my app widget, and on line 11 we are defining the my app widget. And as you can see, that widget extends stateless widget. So this is again Flutter widget. All of these are widgets provided by Flutter. Yep. So stateless widget is one of them. There are stateful and there are various other things. So we're going to use both stateless and stateful. But for this one, we've used stateless, and inside we've defined only one method, which is build. And what it's doing is it's basically returning a material app, and it's got some properties inside. So these properties are actually predefined. I think if you take your mouse on top of them, they should show what they are. if you take it on top of build, it should
Yeah.
show what all they are. Yeah. Okay, not a lot of detail, but that's available in the Flutter documentation. So these properties like title, theme, and home, they are sort of default properties. And what we're doing is for the title of the screen, we're calling it BDK Flutter tutorial. The theme is the theme that we just imported on the top. We're just specifying that theme, and the home is something we haven't created yet. So we'll create a home file under our screens now, home.dot.
Okay, so on the screens, we want a home.dot. Okay.
Home.dot, great. So now we have home.dot. We have to write code in it. But before that, let's sort of, take care of all of those red lines first, and then we can come to home.dot. Okay, so first thing that we'll do is we've got the basic app setup. It's not going to run right now. But let's come to the important part of adding the BDK Flutter module as a dependency here. So first thing we'll do is we'll need a terminal now.
I'll try and use the VS one to avoid switching windows too much. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, that should be fine. So first thing, let's do Flutter pub get. So this will, what we're doing is we're using one of the pub commands to get all of the so all of the dependencies, Flutter dependencies required for our project.
Okay, like an npm install almost.
Yeah.
Okay, is that it? That's just a command, Flutter pub get. Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. So that's turned yellow now. So
yeah, and now so now what it has is it's got the default Flutter dependencies. What we need to do next is we want to add BDK Flutter to this. So we can do that by just like we do npm install. We can specify BDK Flutter. So we can say Flutter pub add BDK Flutter. Yeah. So what this will do is this will pull the BDK Flutter package from pub.dev. Pub.dev is the
package manager.
Yeah, package manager.
Okay. All right, awesome. So yeah, it downloads that and all of its dependencies. I'm imagining. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right, that seemed to have worked. Is it like npm where you like have a list of all the dependencies in your what do they call it in Flutter? Is it
in the pub spec YAML? It should have added this now. So if you go to
oh yeah, here we go. BDK Flutter 0.28.3. Cool.
Right. So that's that. So that's added. And the next thing is one more configuration bit that we need to do is we need to do pod install. But before that, let's go into our pod file under iOS, and we'll specify the minimum iOS OS required. So if you can find the iOS folder, you could do it from the file manager actually. File Explorer.
Okay. Well, I'm in here now anyway. I think I've got to it in the terminal.
And we need the pod file. We need to edit the pod file.
Oh, let's see. So I need to be inside. Oh, we need to edit the pod file, or
yeah.
I see. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, so that's probably easier to do it from here then.
Yeah, you can just click it up there and.
Okay.
And here on the top, where on line number 2, we'll remove the comment. So we remove the hash and the space before platform, and we make it 12 instead of 11.
Okay. Just like the minimum required
minimum
version.
iOS,
Yeah.
required.
Yeah.
And now we can do pod install inside of iOS from the terminal.
So, I can never tell when these things actually work, but it doesn't seem to be shouting too much. But so I think that looks okay. Pod installation complete. Okay.
Okay, so that's good then. So I think we can close this terminal. We'll come back to it if we need to.
Okay.
And we have a home file now, but what we don't have is any code inside it right now, isn't it?
In the home dot. Yeah, exactly.
So let's add some code there. And if you go to your tutorial now, we can see what we want to add here. So we can get that and then talk through it.
Okay, here we go.
So here, what we're going to do is, so this is the main widget that's going to be displayed, and we're gonna, and as you can see on line 5, it's a stateful widget because we're going to maintain some state variables just like you would in any other app, because we want those variables to be available across the app. And and what we're doing is here we've already defined some variables inside the home state on line number 13. So we've got a mnemonic defined over there, but the main thing is on line number 15 we are sort of building the initial scaffolding and the initial widget to display. Now, I don't know why
So
you've got
just
all the...
racking my React brain. So yeah, so we up here we define some state, and then in our this class home state thing is where we actually define some of the UI. I'm assuming this widget build thing is going to return a container which we've defined in our somewhere in our styles or our theme. No, in our widgets, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm wondering why you've got all the red lines actually. So could you hover over some and see? Let's see what the issue is there.
So we've got classes can only extend other classes. Try specifying different superclass. Is it like a rebuild type of thing? I need to rebuild again, or?
Yeah, probably we could try that, but let's do Flutter clean and then install it again.
So, do I need to stop the emulator or anything, or just?
No.
Okay.
We can do Flutter clean.
Okay. And then do I need to do a Flutter run again? Or
Yeah. No, Flutter pub get.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm still getting squigglies, but it might just be a VS Code, like not catching up to see here. I'm gonna just restart VS Code in a second. Okay. What did I call the project again? BDK. Oh, I don't think I saved it in my projects folder. Give me a second now. So I'm gonna close. Let me just close it and open it again. Okay, still shouting at me. A lot of red squigglies. Does that mean it's not going to compile, or are we just missing some dependencies? Because we're also getting the imported package Flutter isn't a dependency of the importing package. Try adding a dependency for Flutter in your pubspec.yaml file. I think Bitcoin Xavier's left us for a second here, so let's try and debug what's going on here.
Sorry, I was talking on mute. I said, let's take a look at the
okay.
look at the pubspec file. I
Okay.
wonder if Flutter dependency isn't there. So in pubspec, it should be under dependencies if it's not there.
So we've got Flutter SDK Flutter.
Your screen is quite blurry, but yeah, we've got Flutter SDK Flutter, and under it we've got Cupertino icons. Then we've got BDK Flutter, and we've got dev dependencies as well. We've got Flutter test SDK Flutter, and further down Flutter lens, and further down we've got use material design true, and the assets, right, as well. Okay, yeah, we have everything there. And so generally, if you've got material dot imported, it should be fine. So it's saying target of URI doesn't exist. Flutter material dot. Try creating the file referencing by the URI, using a URI for a file that does exist. But it does exist actually.
Package Flutter material dot. Okay, so that's a package that, or a file that comes with Flutter direct.
Could you remove the space there before Flutter?
In
line 5.
Line 5. What here? Before
After package and before Flutter, there's a space there.
Oh,
I didn't see that space there. Actually, there's a yeah. It's very fuzzy where I see it, but I think that's what the problem was.
Okay. If anyone's watching, my internet's a little bit shaky, so just type in the chat if my screen's a little bit blurry as well, please, because I think I'll do 1 or 2 things to try and fix it. But apologies in advance.
Apologies. And actually, the all of this is there in the tutorial. Actually,
yeah, exactly.
So I think people who are following the tutorial, for them, it might be a little easier. I think let's focus on the home file now. It was still showing red earlier. So what's it showing now? It's got some red. So let's go all the way to the top. Let's see what it has. Okay, I think let's do one thing, Connor. Let's get that material dot import and get it here as well. So let's type import.
Oh, this one here?
Yeah, the last line here. Let's get it into the home file as well.
Okay. All right. So it looks like, the file was using widgets from material.dart, but for some reason it's not set globally or something. So we're having to import it here as well.
Yeah. And now if you go back to main.dart, let's see if there are any red marks there now.
No, it looks like we're good now.
So it's all fine now. So what we're going to do now is, I think we did Flutter pub get already, isn't it? Let's just try and run it now. If you click on that, play button on the top right.
Yeah.
And the iOS simulator is still running, I believe. Yeah,
it
so
is,
it's show up there now. And where you've got that play button, you've got a few more buttons there, isn't it? Like stop and reload. Yeah, on the left.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we'll probably use those buttons next time so that we don't have to wait for it to reload.
Okay. Does it do like hot reloading as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Oh, red. Is that intentional? Is that the theme we're going for today?
No, not really. Okay, so let me see. So we've got home, and inside of home, I don't think we have anything right now, isn't it?
Inside of home, no, we've got some basic state stuff and a container.
BDK Flutter. So inside of home, we have some stuff. Actually, let's add some more because there isn't anything to show yet. Let's add let's add the top part of the app, which is just the title and some icons there. And it's available again in the tutorial, and then we can walk through it after you put it here.
Okay, so this is home dot. Okay, let's go with this in the interest of time. So is this what we're looking at?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Whoops.
I think you can paste the whole thing inside of that next part that you have in the tutorial. You can copy the entirety of that section and paste it in the home file.
Okay. I don't know what I just pasted there, but there. Okay. Yeah. Here we are. Yeah.
Great. So here, what we got here now is the same thing. It's the home home widget that we are creating.
Okay.
It's got some more properties now. So if we see the build method here, what we're doing is we are returning a scaffold here, and that's a Flutter component, a widget, which basically there are different kinds of scaffolds. So it's going to give the entire structure of a title, app bar, and you can specify a bottom menu as well, and it's got a body and various other things. So it's sort of a structure, overall scaffolding it'll provide.
Nice.
And then we are specifying a background color there. And very quickly, we are saying app bar. App bar is another widget. And build app bar is just going to build that based on what's specified in that build app bar widget. And for the body is a bit interesting. So what we're doing with the body is basically the entire visible section except the title and the bottom bar. So inside the body, we want to have a lot of components stacked on top of one another in a column. So for that, what we're doing is first we've put it in a scroll view so that we can scroll it, and we have added a child called container, right? And inside we have added a column, right? And the column is actually an array, if you see, right? With an empty array right now. So all this is doing is it's going to display a title, and it's going to create a component which will have an array of widgets in it, basically.
Got you.
And then one by one, we'll keep adding the widgets. So I've put a comment there for balance. So we'll put a balance widget there. Then we'll put a create wallet button over there, and then a send. So there are different sections over there. But right now the array is empty, right? So it's not going to display any of those. But we have specified a title, so it should display a title. So if we click on, there's on the top right now, you have a lightning bolt icon.
Yep.
So if you click on that, please.
Okay, this is a hot reloading stuff. Okay. Okay, I pressed it. Do we need to do anything?
Yeah, if nothing happened, then let's try the green reload one.
Okay. Oh, cool. Okay, there we go.
Actually, your screen hasn't changed for a little while.
Am I frozen maybe on the stream? Let's see here.
What are you seeing on the simulator right now?
Yeah, I'm seeing the BDK Flutter tutorial title and a white screen now and the Bitcoin logo on the left-hand side. I don't know why.
Perfect.
So on the stream, I'm seeing my screen, but you're obviously saying you can't see it. Weird. What are you seeing? Are you just seeing like the simulator with the red screen? And
yeah.
That's a bit strange. If anyone's still tuned into the stream, let me know if you can see the updated changes that we're making here, because that's a bit annoying if not. Maybe if I stop sharing and try and present again.
Yeah, if it's present again, that should. Yeah, now we can see it.
Oh, okay, 1 second. Seems like there's a crazy lag, and I'm pretty sure it's my fault because my internet's a bit shaky. How about now? Can you see now?
Yeah, and we can see your mouse as well. Your mouse had disappeared actually earlier.
Oh, weird.
I
Okay.
tell what you're doing. Yeah,
All
so
right,
I think
thanks for telling me.
So I think we are through most of the structure for the app.
Okay.
And we can see the title now. So all we have accomplished so far is that. There's one thing missing though. If you wanna rectify that corner. So when we got the widgets from the repository, we didn't get the BDK logo. So if you want, you can get that from the repository and put it in the assets folder.
Okay, let's do that quickly. I'm on the tutorial now, and I want to find the GitHub repo. And so that is under, is that under styles or?
No, it'll be under assets. So there's a folder called assets in the root.
Oh yeah, got it.
And inside assets, there should be just one file, BDK logo. So you could download that and drag it into your assets folder.
Yeah. 1 second. And then I drag it into my assets folder, which is where did we put assets? Assets was at the root, right?
Yeah, did we not create that folder?
Oh, I don't think we did actually. No, I don't think we did. So does that need to be at the root? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a folder, not a file.
Okay, there we go. We got to have our BDK branding in there.
Of course, yeah. And try the lightning bolt now.
Let's see if it works this time. Okay, hot reloading is not very hot today. The hot reload is not hot today. What's going on?
So, so the first time you do it, it takes this amount of time, and the next time it's quicker.
I see. Okay.
And the whole thing with Flutter is it's context based, and a context is something that sits at the same level in the widget hierarchy, if that makes sense. So earlier we didn't really have this entire hierarchy of scaffolding and container and child and all that. So it was not able to hot reload because of that. So if this hot reload happens, then going forward it should just reload automatically.
Okay, let's give it another second or two.
Yeah, I think let's just reload it with the green one. That was quicker for last time. Yeah, there could be something to do with VS Code as well.
Yeah. I wonder if I can. If there's a way to stop it though. Because now I can't.
You can do stop button then. There's a stop button as well, the red one, yeah. That should definitely stop everything.
Okay.
And then you'll have to be in the main.dart file to start it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. While it's doing that, let's see what we need to do next. So what we have now is a basic structure, and we are seeing the title, and we've got BDK Flutter added into our application. I think the next thing is we need to start calling BDK Flutter methods finally, right?
Yep.
And your app's up, and it's got the BDK logo now.
Oh, nice. There we go.
Yeah. So I think so. What we're gonna do is we're gonna call the BDK Flutter methods now. So most of the code that we write is gonna be in our home file, and what we do first is we're gonna import BDK Flutter into home, so that we can start using it. And
okay, looks like you've already got it here. Is this right? BDK_Flutter.dart.
So, oh yeah, that's the one. So we already got it there. We're not using it yet, so that's why it's marked as yellow. Yeah. And when we create the wallet, we're going to need a variable to store it in. So do we have that already yet? I don't think so. No. So this home. So the wallet variable that we create, it'll need to be accessible everywhere. So we'll create it right under where we are starting the class definition. So it becomes a property of the class. So we could put it on line number 12.
Okay. And I see we have this thing called late.
Yes. So late is a Dart specific keyword. What it's doing is it's basically saying that this variable that we're going to define should always have a value, and we don't want to use it before it has a value, but we don't want to give it an initial value, right?
Got you.
So so otherwise, what you would do is you'll initialize a string as a blank string, isn't it?
Yeah.
So to avoid that, we are saying that we'll initialize it eventually, but we don't want to give an initial value to it.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
So we do late wallet, and let's do blockchain as well. Let's have so late blockchain space blockchain. Yeah.
My GitHub pilot coming into play here. I'm not gonna have to type anything at this rate.
Beautiful. Yeah, I use that as well, and it's very handy.
Yeah. Okay.
So what we're going to do is now we're going to get into BDK. So in BDK, we want
to get one little error just to make sure it's nothing crazy. Getting a squiggly on the home. Can't define a constructor for a class with non-final fields.
Let's remove that line altogether. Line number 9.
Number 9. Okay. Okay.
So we're going to get into BDK now, and I think with BDK to create a wallet, we can start with a mnemonic, right? And so that is the first thing we'll need to do. And if you want to call if you want to create a mnemonic, basically it's a mnemonic is the object, is the class, and we can call create as one of the constructors.
Okay, where am I calling this? Where we have our create wallet comment, can that just be replaced with that?
So the thing, Connor, is that we can, it's just a one-line statement, but within Flutter, what we want to do is we want to have a click handler to handle it, right? Isn't it? So I think what we should do is we should create a method which will be our click handler, and inside it we can call generate mnemonic.
I see. All right. Okay. I'm gonna write this out by hand just to get a feel for it. But
yeah, let's do this. What we'll do is on line number 10, the wallet and blockchain are our the class properties now. Let's add a method inside now called generate mnemonic handler. Let's see how GitHub handles this. Generate mnemonic handler. So, and then open close bracket, and this is going to be an async method. So let's call it async. Hey, it was typing something. I wanted to see what it was typing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Let's see.
Sync and
does that look right?
oh yeah. Wait, let's see whether it's right. It's saying not quite. I think after you code with BDK Flutter for a bit, then it'll learn.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so what we're going to do is, so we've got the method now handler. So we're going to the actual method that we're going to call is mnemonic.create. So, but we want to store it temporarily. So we can say var for variable, and we want to collect the response in res equal to. Now we can and it's an async method, so we'll say await, and then mnemonic with a capital M because we're calling the class. And there's a static constructor there called create, mnemonic.create. Now
it takes
inside
a
here,
word count.
perfect. Yes, we need word count there, but what we'll do is the word count are defined enums. So word count with the capital and then dot words 12 is what we can do. Yeah, perfect. That's what we need. We can use 18 as well, and other options as well. So here we're using a 12-word mnemonic. So this should save the mnemonic object inside the response. And what we want to do is we want to save this in our state as well, right? So just like basic React, we have set state. So on the next line, let's do set state.
Set state.
Open bracket, and we'll have an empty, anonymous. Yeah, that's right. You could do tab.
I think.
So here, so what we're doing is, that's fine. We're going to correct it now. So what we'll do over here is, so that's empty method. Here, we'll say mnemonic.text.
Lowercase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lowercase. Yes.
This is referring to something that will be in the UI.
Response, and then the response is a mnemonic object, so we want to convert it to a string. So we can say response dot as string.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Now mnemonic is not defined anywhere right now, Connor. So what we'll do is we'll go up to line number 11, and on line number 11, so in the widgets that we had imported, we had one of the widgets called text editing controller.
Okay.
So we'll define mnemonic as a text editing controller. Just do tab. It already typed everything for you. Just do tab.
Nice.
So just a quick overview. So basically, what I've done is in the widgets file, I've created a text box, a text editing controller, which can be used for storing values and updating values, and we can reuse it then.
I'm just looking for it now, just so I can see text edit. What is it called? Text
editing controller. It's actually it's available by default.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. I got you.
So
I got you.
Taking credit for it.
Yeah.
So it's there. Now we got so we got mnemonic and we've got set state. But your set state has got a red line.
The method set state isn't defined for type home.
Do the name of the existing method or defining.
We don't. We got create state.
We are under home and
Oh wait, have I done this in the right place?
actually it should be below home state. All of that should be below home state actually.
So including the text editor control.
Yeah, even the wallet variables as well. Sorry, I'm not able to see your screen clearly, Connor, so I'm sort of guiding you by assuming where
Yeah,
you are.
yeah. Apologies for that. We're just gonna have to grind through this one. Sorry for that.
That's fine, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I think line number 14, and
Now that's working now. That's good.
that's working now. But can we just do one thing? I don't think it should make a difference, but you had removed line number 9, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So if you could just press enter over there and it'll bring it, yeah, it'll bring it back. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Perfect. So I think this looks good to me. Let's just quickly take a look at what we have done. So what we're
Yeah.
trying to do is we've got a method now that can create a mnemonic and store it in the state. But we got to trigger that, isn't it, with a button,
Okay.
right? So in order to do that, we will have to create that button. And so
this is where we have our array of children, which are widgets, basically. Yeah. Okay.
yes. So we've got that. So create wallet is there, and all of those things are there. So what we'll do is we can actually, if you see the tutorial, there's some code to create a button there.
Okay. Let me try and find that and see if I can.
It's just very simple. We can type it as well if you want. It's submit button, and then you specify the name. Oh yeah, that's the one. Yes, line 47.
Okay.
You've got submit button, and you've got a text field as well, which is.
Do they need to be imported? So they're Flutter widgets. Do they need to be imported or anyway, or because we've already imported material, it just comes in by default, basically?
Yeah, all of those come in by default, and some of them are defined in the widget files. So right now we've got a bunch of red lines. So let's see what they are.
Core type none. Maybe it's a too many brackets type of scenario here. I don't know.
So there's something hovering actually on the screen. Yeah, so now you've got submit, but actually the submit button is right inside there in the right place. And, there's a comma there, great. Text field container. There's a comma in the end as well. So we need to figure out if all of the brackets are closing.
Yeah, it looks like it's a bracket issue here. So let me try and do this. This maybe make it a little clearer.
Or you could remove one of them first and see if it makes sense. So if you could remove text field container first, yeah.
As in the whole thing?
Yeah. And if you remove that, then let's see whether that on its own makes sense. So you've got submit button there.
Submit button. Text generate mnemonic call async. If I do that. Oh, I've got prettier on, so it's auto formatting for me. It's a bit annoying, but do I need an extra comma? No, I've got a comma there. Let's see, the values in const list literal must be constants. I'm gonna go and get rid of this as well. Let me just see. Okay. So
now you've got blue lines.
What does blue lines usually mean? Use constant.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay, so let's try and add the children again. So I'm gonna just add the submit button. Let's see. And I've got the right function name as well for.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we're getting a bit of help. So the callback missed the equals for the arrow function, I think. So this. Oh no, it's okay. Okay, no.
You could try and copy what's there on the page in the tutorial and bring it here. Let's see whether that resolves it.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and copy from start container down to.
No, actually, you can copy that entire bit.
Okay, all right. Let's try that. Let's try that.
So we've got style container, that and that.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of squigglies now. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not because it's not imported. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me try one thing here. Okay, let's try this, and then we can. Okay, so it looks like it's saying a value of type null can't be assigned to a parameter type void function in a const constructor. We have a callback, an async callback here that's calling our generate mnemonic handler. We have a text field container with a text form field and some properties.
Okay.
This
Right.
is very good.
Could you scroll up a bit? Let me take a look at the submit button. And before this, there was no error, right? There was no red line before this.
No, there wasn't. No.
Okay, so let's just quickly take a look at this. So children, and then you've got submit button, which is fine. Generate mnemonic is a string. Callback is lowercase, and then async handler, and then that is done. And yep, that should be fine actually.
Okay, let's see. The children array closes where? It closes here according to VS Code. And then the first element is this submit button.
Yes.
Which takes text and a callback. Yep, that makes sense to me. And then the second array in this children array is text field, which is a widget that takes a child, has a text form field with some properties. Oh, what is this const?
You try and remove that. The const is, to when it's later on, it might complain that it wants it. It gives a warning otherwise. It's just to whether to recreate the whole thing or not. Basically, when Flutter is creating that widget.
Okay, yeah, I didn't affect.
Yeah. And it still says value of type null can't be assigned to a parameter of type widget in a const constructor. Try using a subtype, removing the keyword const. So we did do that.
Yeah, that didn't seem to work. I'm convinced it's maybe something to do with the brackets, but it's difficult to tell.
Yeah. Is there another const somewhere over there in the code that we have?
So a search const. Fine. Oh well, children. children. This outer children array has a const, but I don't know if that, it doesn't seem to be complaining about. Oh, there we go. I was complaining about that. So
Sorry, the array.
yeah, so this outer children array that is gonna hold balance result and create wallet doesn't seem to like the const around that for some reason. When I remove it, it seems to.
All right. Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah. Okay. So
okay, your app is updated as well, actually.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna add that const back in and try and make this a bit bigger so people can see it.
Let's just see if that button is wired up. So we've got submit button on line 40 something.
49. Yeah.
We are calling the handler there, and the name is the same, isn't it? So await, and that should put it in the state. And below that, we've got a field which is gonna get its value from mnemonic. All right, the controller is mnemonic.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, fine. So let's click that button then, generate mnemonic, and let's see what happens. And we got a mnemonic.
Cool. Very good. Wow. Okay.
So that's
I'm just gonna take a second to pause a minute, and just think like the from the UI code point of view. I don't know. Maybe I've been doing React for too long, so but I'm finding this a little bit like it's a bit hard to read at the minute. But that might just be my React bias, to be honest. But okay, we got there in the end. So again, like the API is obviously very simple to use and stuff. It's just a lot of setups required.
Yeah, a lot of sort of.
Well, not really a lot. It's not a lot of setup, but yeah, some setup is required just to get into a state we are now. But all right, that's great.
So the actual BDK API is pretty simple to use. However, the wiring that we need to do to get the button click to create the mnemonic, right, and then to display it, right, that entire data route is what we had to create, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. So I think so the approach that we have followed right now with the handler and then the response being displayed is the approach that we're gonna take for the following methods as well. So we've got generate mnemonic now. So the other thing that I've done in the app is we've got a little text box to display the response of each of the APIs. And that's useful because if you're actually trying to explore the API, then you want to see the response. So we can add one more state variable for storing that, and then a small widget for displaying that. So we could create a state variable called display text right under where we have blockchain and wallet.
Okay, cool. And just in the interest of time, just anyone who's still hanging around, we'll go for like another 10 minutes. We'll just see to where we get to, and then we'll pause. Like I said, we have got the companion tutorial anyway, so people can take off from where we've left off. All right, cool. So another state variable for this is for the response of the API calls. You said, yeah.
Yeah. So this will be string, and you could do string question mark and display text. So we'll define it, and we don't need late for this. We'll just display text, and we can remove the late. So so we have and a semicolon at the end, please. And while we're here, let's add a couple of more. Actually, we'll need one to store the address as well.
String as well.
The same way, string question mark and address. And we'll need one to store the balance as well.
And then that is string as well, yeah.
Yeah. And we've got, all right, address balance. Yeah, that's great. So now if we go down to our generate mnemonic handler.
Yep.
So over there, we have a response coming in from the mnemonic method, isn't it? We right now we are assigning it to the mnemonic.text. Let's assign the same thing to display text as well, because we want to store our responses into that. Yeah, equal to, and we could assign the same thing, response res.asstring.
Okay, cool.
And this display text is going to be displayed in a different display widget. So let's add that. And there is a predefined widget for it. All we need to do is make this as, so we want to put this, there should be a comment there where it says result, right?
Oh yeah.
So just below it, we can add response container, capital R. Yeah. If you press tab, it will, that should do it. Yeah. And actually, we know where you have the empty string,
Yeah.
there we can say no response or something so that we know there's no response. So we have a response there. Actually, if you click generate mnemonic now, ideally it should display the mnemonic and response as well. And there we go. Yeah.
And hot reloading is working now.
Oh yeah. Hot.
45, 50 minutes into the tutorial, but that's how it goes. All right, nice. Response container is a Flutter default one. Yeah.
Okay. No, it's been defined by us in the widget.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay.
So we can see the response over there. I think what we should do is we should quickly add one more widget to display the balance, and then we can create the wallet.
Okay.
So where it says balance in your code, there's a comment called balance.
Yeah.
So here, what we'll do is we'll put, so balance container is a defined in our widget file. So balance container and tab, yeah. And where it says no balance, you can put 0 over there instead of no balance here.
0.
And we could do sats. So
for the text.
Yeah, so we could use text colon and then double quotes, dollar, curly braces.
Yeah.
And here balance is our variable that stores and then space.
Yeah.
Now question mark, and then double quotes 0. And then what we'll do, we'll remove the question mark and other stuff from outside.
All of this stuff.
Yeah, we just need we just need one of those. Yes. And then what we need is the balance will be in sats. So just after the double quotes, we can put sats.
After the double quotes in here.
Yeah, that'll also do. Yeah.
Okay.
And why is there a blue line there? Okay, that's fine.
I think I've got too many quotes in there.
And we've got 0 sats displaying on the right in the simulator. So that's great. So creating a wallet is next. I think before we create a wallet, we have a mnemonic now. I think just like in BDK creates descriptor-based wallets. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to create descriptors, internal and external descriptors.
Okay.
Specify them to.
Yeah, let's go through this and then end, because this is quite an important bit. So if you're still hanging on with us, thank you. Let's just go through descriptors, which is important, and then we can leave the rest for people to finish.
Yeah. So I think in the tutorial you'll see that there's a method called get descriptors.
Okay. Yeah.
If you quickly go through that method, you'll see that we are creating 2 descriptors, one internal and one external.
Yeah. Can I add this into this file, or?
Yeah, you can actually. So you could get
at the bottom, maybe?
that. So you'll have to put it right below generate mnemonic handler. So if you
generate mnemonic handler, okay, put it below that.
Below it, so it becomes part of that class now. So what we're going to do over here is pass it the mnemonic, and it will create two descriptors for us, both testnet, and we'll be using the template method for new BIP84 for BIP84 descriptors. On line number 41, you can see descriptor is the class, and we are saying dot new BIP84. So which is the same as BDK. The method call is the same as BDK, and yeah, so that's what we'll do. And to call this, we'll need a method called create or restore wallet first of all, which will have the mnemonic. So that method is defined as well in the tutorial. You can put it below this method.
Okay, just before we do that quickly, I just wanted to look at the parameters for new BIP84. It takes a secret key, a network, and a keychain kind. I'm just getting a red error saying the name parameter keychain is required. So is that been omitted, or keychain kind has just been changed to keychain?
Could you try that?
Yeah.
I think it might have been changed. Let me see.
Yeah, it looks like that's the case. Yeah.
So let's see what it is now. Yeah, I'm looking at the API now. It's keychain, and that should be secret key. That is fine, and it should be keychain. Yeah.
We are not passing in a secret key yet.
So also it says the secret key cannot be a string, isn't it? So what we could do is we could replace that with descriptor secret key on line 42.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
because we have the object up there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay.
So descriptor secret key, and they should, but we need to pass this the mnemonic, and for that we can create another method called create or restore wallet, which will pass this the mnemonic. Then we can use that same method to either restore or create a wallet.
Okay, that makes sense.
You can get that from the tutorial. Now this will call that method, and here what we're doing is, if you see, we are just assigning the different things to the state, right? And create or restore wallet has got the create wallet method, and that's on line number 60. So wallet is the class, dot create is the static creator constructor, sorry, and we pass it the descriptors that we created in the previous method. So we need to pass it the external descriptor first, then the change descriptor. Both of these we created in the previous method. We are passing it the network, and then the database config. So for database config, we are using memory as the default config, and the response for this will be, the wallet.
Okay, that makes sense.
And with the wallet, we are using get address to create a first address.
Yeah. Okay. So get descriptors just returns an array of type descriptor call, and then we just pull out the first and second elements, which are change, which is like internal, external addresses, basically. And then, okay, that makes sense to me. Set a database config, and then get address. Okay, this is erroring because this enum doesn't look like it's exists.
So I think we are saying address info equal. Actually, we could just do a get new address actually.
So result.get new address.
No, actually wallet. Sorry, no, it's got response is the wallet. So wallet dot get address, and we can do address index.
Address index. Yeah. Oh, is in.
No, that would be like a method call. So open close bracket with instead of the dot.
Oh, instead of the dot. Is this lowercase though? Address index.
No, it's correct. It's a proper case, and it needs one bracket at the end.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, and then address index has some stuff on it, does it?
No, we just pass it the address index because
Oh,
it'll
okay.
return what we need.
Okay.
And we still have a blue line there, actually. I think that would be for the, it'll say complain about constant, but we can ignore it. That's fine. So we've got response, get address, and we're passing it the address index, and we get the address info there. Great. Okay. Now we need to trigger, right, the create wallet option, but method. So for that, we can just use reuse of a widget for submit button,
Okay.
and we can call it create wallet instead.
Submit button. Where do we want to put this?
We can put it below our mnemonic text box.
Oh, okay. So in here where we've got our children, we've got a submit button. Can we put it directly after that, I guess?
Yeah. So in your array, no, not there actually.
Okay.
So because below that you have a text field, right? So on
Oh, I see.
line 117.
So that's the end of the text field.
Yes.
And then
So the 115 then, sorry.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. That's the end of the text field. What's the end of? That's the end. Okay. Yeah. I'm just. It's a bit nesty. I'm just trying to get my head around it.
So here what we're doing is we've got a callback here, which is basically going to call the method that we were in just now, create or restore wallet. That is the actual method which will call the BDK to create the wallet, and then and then once the wallet is created, we will set it in the state.
Okay.
Right. Okay, and here we are passing it the mnemonic. So create or restore wallet, we are passing it the mnemonic, and actually there's some the testnet, right? It's not all caps. It's network dot capital T and the rest is lowercase. That's why it's complaining.
Okay,
And
cool.
password is fine. And there's no need for anything else actually. Do one thing. There's some in the previous method, right? Create or restore wallet. We don't need the path, so it's complaining about the path. The last parameter we don't need, so we can delete.
Is this the descriptor path?
Yeah, we don't need it
because path,
yeah, because we already have it in the descriptor. Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, yeah, that's worked.
And then the display text part here, we don't need this, I think, because we're already doing it in the create or restore wallet method. So the set state on line 121, we don't need it. Let's remove that.
Okay.
Yes, let's remove that. So we've got a submit button now, which should hopefully work. Right, so we've got response, which we are not using. Await. Okay, great. All right, so let's. So when we click on create wallet, it'll use the mnemonic that we have just created to create a wallet.
All right, let's give this a go.
And what's the response? I can't read it.
Yeah, so the response says wallet created and then some long mnemonic string starting with TB1.
That's the initial address of the wallet.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Awesome.
So that's the wallet creation. And I think if you go further down in the tutorial, we'll have a sync option to sync with the blockchain. And before that, we will need to create the blockchain object to specify the node URL that we are going to use. And once we sync, we get the balances. Then we'll add, have a balance. And after that, we could create a transaction and broadcast it.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we'll kind of pause there because we did get quite a decent way in just over an hour. So we basically created a wallet in just over an hour. Like, well, even less really, because we was doing a lot of Flutter setup, to be honest. So yeah, just again, look, appreciate all of your work. Like, to get to this point where basically you can create like a super basic wallet in like, I'm slow and I was, getting familiar with Flutter, but it should take you like a very short amount of time to get set up and going. If you're following along, you should definitely try and finish the tutorial as well. Let me stop presenting for a second. Get back into this mode. Yeah. All right. Cool. Thank you for being so patient with me, Bitcoin Xavier. It's my first time using Flutter. Quite impressed with how quick it is to get set up, all things considered. And obviously, as usual, the BDK APIs that you're creating and building on top of seem to be working really well and make it easy for people to get up and running. Is there anything you wanted to let people know, or information that you might want to give people who are interested in using BDK Flutter?
Yeah, what I would say is this tutorial that we are referring to here, I think it's really great to get you started.
Yeah.
And it's called and the app is called the QuickStart app, right? So the name is self-explanatory. It's really great to get you started off. And once you've done this, you've covered the major aspects of a Bitcoin wallet,
Exactly.
and you've already used the main API for BDK once you've done this tutorial. And after that, you can explore your individual use cases and build your own user journeys, and you will be very familiar with BDK by the time you complete this tutorial. And yeah, and the other thing I wanted to say was all the other BDK references out there will also be helpful in using BDK Flutter. And our Discord community is great. So if you join our Discord community, we can help you with any issues you have. So we are available, Discord, Twitter. I think that's all, right? Those are the only two places we're available, and this YouTube channel and Twitch.
Yep.
So yeah, anybody needs any support, you can always contact us here.
Yeah, fantastic. All right. Well, thank you for people who listened in and followed along. Hopefully you can go away and complete it. Also, shout out to anyone who watches this on the playback as well. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next one. See ya.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks a lot, Connor.
Bye. See ya.